Welcome back, guys. Today is D-Day, as in today is the day that we attempt the first start on this fully customized pre-bug zoomer. Will everything go to plan, or will it end in a great big fail? Hang around to the end to see how it goes. One of the first jobs we're going to be doing is the tail light. Now, if you ask me, the standard tail light on the rack of these pre-bugs is absolute balls. So to do that, we've got one of the JDM ones fresh out of the packet. We'll chuck this guy in, then we're going to progress through to the wiring harness, chuck in an exhaust, all those funky things like forward controls, that kind of stuff. And then if we're lucky, we might get this bike started by the end of this episode. Let's hook in. Hands down, one of the best modifications that you can do to your pre-bug is one of these JDM rear tail light housings. They come in a few different styles and a few different colors, and if you're really looking to clean up the rear end of your pre-bug, go get one of these things. Well worth it. Because this bike pretty much came with nothing, I've had to go out and buy a brand new set of locks. In the set of locks, you get one for the seat lock and of course one for the ignition. Moving on now to the wiring harness, and as always with any of these builds I do, rewiring the bike or rerouting the wiring is one of the most time consuming components. This one was especially a little bit more difficult because I never took the wiring harness out of the bike, so I wasn't entirely sure of its direction or route it would take. Getting this wrong can cause lots of issues later on, and you really need to make sure it's right. Online, look at old photos is a great way to get this done. With the brand new keyway, we can bolt down the stator and bolt in the flywheel. And that is pretty much the electrical system done that should guarantee, hopefully, a running bike. Where are we up to? We've gone and put in the taillight. We've gone from there up to the wiring harness, a little reflector, and of course we finished it off with the stator and the flywheel. But the bike won't run unless it's got an exhaust. So to do that, I've got a Yasuni R exhaust. This was the exhaust that was most recommended by you guys. So this will go on this bike. Now, not only do we have the exhaust, but we've also got the silencer, and you guessed it, it's red again. One more red thing to go, and I promise that is the only more red that you'll see on the build. All right, so from here, before we get cracking with the exhaust and bolting it in, it does have a few little issues, and of course, there you go, a big fat restrictor and a big fat restrictor there. So we'll go pull the restrictors out, then bolt in the exhaust. The best way to remove the restrictors is with the die grinder. Just grind away at those welds and it just falls straight out. Alright, Exhaust, looking spectacular. I think you would agree. I just want to point out, at this point, everything is red. The whole bike will not be red. The plastics on top will be a different color. So what do you reckon I should do with the plastics? Leave a comment, let me know. What color would you like to see? I might just do it. If we're going to start this bike, we're going to need to control it. So we're going to move on to forward controls. We do have handlebars up there. We do have front and rear brake levers. We do have the buttons, but nothing is wired up, and we don't have any brake cables. So let's do that. We're getting very, very close now. All the wiring is in. The only thing left to do wiring wise is front and rear indicators, because I have different indicators for the front, and obviously the tail light at the back is a little bit different. The rest of the wiring is done. Exhaust is on. We're pretty much here. The only thing I'm not liking is this airbox and rear shock assembly. I like them both, but they're not working together. So I might have to do something around there. But do you remember this guy from a couple of weeks ago, how crusty and ugly this guy was? Well, look at him now. He's looking pretty damn good. So we'll chuck this guy on now. Alright, we're at a point now where it's time to start it. Fuel's in the bike, fuel is in the carburetor, ignition is on, brake lever is deployed, brake lights are on. Hopefully this thing starts. If not, I've probably done something wrong. I've already checked for spark and I have that too. So I guess it's time to give it a shot. Now it is getting fuel, I've got it on my finger. I'll try one more time. Well, that went absolutely swimmingly, didn't it? A big fat fail for me. I'm not entirely sure what is wrong. I've got spark, I've got fuel, I've got ignition, everything should work. I'm thinking it's this. Probably the stator or the flywheel. As you guys know, I bought this bike with not really much of it, and I've acquired a lot of parts for it. And I don't even know if these parts were for this bike. I'm told that they were, but I can't be certain. If I've got spark, I've got fuel, the only thing I can think of would be timing is out. And if that's the issue there, that would certainly prevent it from starting. Or it could be something totally unrelated. It could be something that I've done in the motor in terms of maybe I put the gaskets the wrong way around. I'm not entirely sure. We will find out, however. So I'm going to see you guys on the next episode. Till then, have a good one.